Hi, this is Mark Burnett with the Island Generation, and today we're talking about $3 shrimp. Not $3 a pound, not $3 a kilo. We're talking about $3 each. Each! Yes, this shrimp right here, this little guy, okay, well, he's, supposedly large black tiger shrimp, okay, is $3 at the local store. I bought it right down the road here, okay? Amazed me. When I went by, I went, wow, shrimp, $3 a pound. I guess I'll get some. A pound. It's each. Hello, inflation. Pretty amazing, right? Is this crazy? Or is it just me? Okay? $3. You can look at this guy right here. I'll put up the receipt or the packaging price as the guy weighed it. And if I got the receipt, I'll throw the receipt up there too so you can see it, although it just says seafood, so that's not too fair. But it actually has the price on there. And that was with the discount savings card. That really helped me. Yeah, and I asked the guy, I said, hey, what gives, $2.99 shrimp $3? And he goes, yeah, that's the price of them each. So I get a lot of email from people in the Philippines. These are expats, these are Filipinos that are saying, hey, the price of food and everything here is just outrageous, Mark. It's gone high, so it's not such a good deal here and stuff like that. You don't understand. The price of food in the United States is inflating just as bad as it is in the Philippines. So that keeps everything equal. If you go to the Philippines, you're still going to save. If you really look at the numbers, okay, if you really study them, you'll see that there is a 50 to 58% savings in food in the Philippines. Now, if you go to the classy restaurant every night, no, you're not going to save money. So you have to do things relative. In other words, you go to the market, you shop, you cook some of your own food, or in our case, you let our restaurant at the Island Generation cook the food at the lower cost, or work with you so that you can buy in the quantity levels we buy as we go to those markets. That's a lot cheaper to do that than it is here, and it will continue to be. I don't see that price going far and above what people seem to be thinking it is. But I understand from their perspective in the Philippines, it does make sense that you're in the Philippines for a few years, you see the prices go up and you go, oh my gosh, it's no longer a savings here, this is horrible, it's not good. No. $3 shrimp? Does that amaze you? 150 pesos for one shrimp? Does that make any real sense? No, it doesn't. But that was the price. Okay? Look at other things. Let's compare Burger King. Burger King, we just went to yesterday. We went to there in Popeyes, actually. We spent between Burger King and Popeyes for 3 people. And my son just got a Whopper. He didn't get the meal, okay? We got a bucket of chicken, and we got 1 Whopper and 1 Whopper meal, okay? What would you think that would cost? $35. Yeah, $35. Wow, I didn't even get to sit down. That was through the drive-thru. That is outrageous pricing, but that's what it is. And I'll put the receipts up here for those items so that you can see them. Let's take it down. The Whopper first. Compare it to the Philippines. I went up on sites in the Philippines. A lot of people went into Burger King, filmed them. I looked up at the menu. These were just a few months ago, so they're pretty fresh prices. A Whopper's like 159 pesos. A Whopper meal is about 159 pesos, which is about $3. I think it's $3. Look at my chart here. $3.34 is what I came out with. And the Whopper meal that I bought, which I'll show you the receipt here. Now it was $6.49, and that was a large one. It's only like a 40-cent difference. Okay. But if you compare those two, that's like a 50% difference in price. And that's my whole point, that 50% spread stays. So you're going to pay 50% more here in the United States for the same Whopper meal you can buy in the Philippines. It may seem expensive, but in actuality, it's not. And keep in mind, if you're retired, your money's the same. Okay? Your money's the same. The amount of money you get from Social Security and pension, it didn't go up because you bought in the United States. They didn't go, oh, buy USA, we'll give you a couple extra $100 for that. No, that doesn't work that way, does it? So you have to think, well, how can I live more efficiently? So going and saving 50% on your food, if you spend $400 a month in food and you could drop that down to $200 a month in food, wow. Whatever your number is, drop it by 50% and you might be in the ballpark, as long as you're not hitting every huge diner place or nice restaurant in the Philippines. You typically do pay more for franchises in the Philippines, especially if you get into bigger restaurants. But McDonald's, KFC, Jollibee's, which is also in the United States and Philippines. I got a Jollibee's right down the street here. Good little drive, but that way. You know, their costs are a lot more in the United States. They're paying U.S. wages. They've got a lot more to deal with. It costs them more. Another area here I'm popping up here right now is the Popeyes. I'm comparing Popeyes to Jollibee's. Jollibee's 8-piece chicken with no sides is 440 pesos. With sides, which include rice, drinks, and what's something they call new sides. I don't know. That's like 570 pesos. To buy that here in the United States, that 8-piece chicken, which I have the receipt right here, would be 900 pesos. And I'm not getting that many sides. I only got one side with that, okay? That's amazingly crazy. And it's Popeyes versus Jollibee, I agree, but there's only like 2 Popeyes in Philippines and their prices aren't posted. So I compared that with Jollibee's, chicken there. That's my point. Again, it's at 50. It's exactly 50%. It's like $9 in the Philippines to buy that bucket of chicken with no sides in that particular case, or $20, $19.95, $19.40, whatever, to buy it in the United States with one side of green beans and some biscuits. Okay, check these prices out. Don't just assume that you see videos up here and people say, "Oh, the price has gone up" or whatever. You really need to compare and see. A lot of people say, go to Numbo's site, I think it's called. I'll put the name up here. And they're like, check it out. It's amazing how they say, check it out. You'll see the prices have gone up. Yeah, you know, I did check out that. Being a database person, I looked at it. I said, yeah, I see a price increase there. In the Philippines, absolutely. But you know what? What you didn't click on was comparing the United States and the Philippines and look at those numbers. If you look at the top, it says there at the top, in the Philippines, the food cost is 58% less. And this varies more every day, but it's 58% difference than the United States. That gets back to my 50%. That you're going to do 50% cheaper in the Philippines. So keep that in mind. Prices will go up no matter where you live. That's not going to make any difference. Some others were mangoes. My wife yesterday bought mangoes. $1.25 each. Here in the United States, that's 60 pesos for each mango. Like she said, if I was in the Philippines, there's a kid on the street selling mangoes. I don't need to. I can barter with him, and I don't need to pay that much for a mango. You could compare an orange. The price of orange last year at the same store that I bought the shrimp. Yeah, I know. Maybe I shouldn't buy there anymore, but actually it's pretty cheap compared to a lot of things. $1.25 each. Last year was $1 for that orange. $1.25 each now for that same orange. A 25% increase, and we really haven't seen any massive problems that should cause both Florida and California to collapse their orange groves where this price should shoot up like this. It just is, probably because they're paying more for labor and other components and transportation than they were before. But can you imagine in the Philippines, you know, paying 60 pesos for one orange? Can you imagine that? When you realize these things, and I hope you understand that the price of going to the Philippines is going to save you money. If you think about it as maybe saving you 50% in rent, 50% in food cost, you'll start to understand where I'm coming from and why this makes more sense to retire there. This is not about running away from America and not wanting to be here. It's about how do I maximize my retirement funds and live well in the future? How do I do that? What's the way to do it? Well, obviously, the way to do it is to lower your costs because you're not going to get more money. You have to lower your costs. You're on a fixed income, so you have to lower that cost. Costs will always go up no matter where you live. But if you can jump into a lower cost area right now and live better, have maids, chauffeurs that cost you a few dollars each time you use them, or all within the facility and everyone can utilize the staff, wow, it starts to become not just lowering your cost, it's actually living a whole lot better, a whole lot nicer than you can in the United States. because as prices go up in the United States and everyone wants $15 an hour minimum wage, that's what everybody's shooting for. Some states and some places have already moved to that. Think about that. How can you afford to hire help, if the price is going to be like? I had a really nice woman email me and said, I have some dexterity issues with my hands. It's hard for me to cook. It's hard for me to do certain tasks. Can I get someone there to help me? And I'm like, man, yeah, actually, absolutely. For a few dollars a day, you can have someone run around with you all day if you want, or if you just want to utilize them a little bit to say, come up and help you cook, or you don't even want to cook. They'll take care of all that for you. They'll do those kind of things. They'll do the running around for you, and it's not going to cost you a whole lot of money. The island generation. That's what we're all about. Food costs, not as bad as you think. 50% less. Check it all out. Even further, compare those prices. Don't believe everyone on YouTube when they're sitting there going, oh, it's so costly. Make them work out the numbers and show you exactly. Check us out. Subscribe here. Go to our website. We got a lot of people signing up. This facility is going to go. It's going to happen. Meeting with investors. I got a number of investors are actually coming in through the site too, asking them to invest a lot. So obviously it's going to roll forward. But we're not going to, we appreciate them, and they can certainly pledge what they want to put in. But we're not going to take any dollars or anything until we have everything in step. We have all our land in step, we have all our building in step, all our permit components are where we need to be, and when we start getting those things ready, then at that point we may allow additional investors in. Again, we have our own investors, so how many will take in extra will depend on what they want to do, but we are getting a lot. We appreciate that. A lot of 25% of my viewers are women, which actually surprised me, but of course they're looking at the facility as a more secure facility, and they don't have to kind of pioneer it as a lot of Americans would do, males that would go out and pioneer and go to any island or do anything. Yeah, that's normal. Guys are tough, they can take care of it. They've been ex-military, whatever, I understand. But a lot of widows are not necessarily going to have that same interest. They want to be involved in a community. Also, I'm getting a lot of emails from people that are within the Philippines already. They're living there. They've been living there for years, and they want to join our group because they just want to come around and meet 200 other Americans, sit down at the American Cafe and have I should say American Cafe, that's a brand, our American restaurant called Samplers, where people can come in, sample some food, drink some beer, watch some sports games, do whatever, or go over to the bar and enjoy themselves within the facility and meet other Americans, and maybe they stay there 6 months, or they rent out for the year or whatever. You can see this is growing, and again, keep everything coming. Look forward to the next series next part of the series that I'll be coming out with. I'll be answering all your questions. Mark Burnett, Island Generation. I'm getting long-winded here. Sorry. Island Generation. Check us all out. Thanks.